Hello and welcome to another Stoney Ridge Ag Services video. This is a weekly update for the week ending June 3rd. So we're out here today in one of our most advanced soybean fields. This one was seeded near the start of our soybean planting. In general, we're seeing a lot of the soybeans starting to open up their unifoliate leaf. So again, this was one of our earliest soybean fields. So a lot of the soybean fields out there are likely just starting to emerge or nearing emergence. So here we just have some soybean plants at slightly different stages to show you. So here, this first plant is in what we would call the hook stage, just coming out of it, so it's just emerging. This here is the cotyledons of the soybean plant, so that was actually the soybean seed. And that's why it's so important that we don't have a crust on our soil, because it's pushed this soybean seed all the way up through the soil. And as your soybeans are emerging, you'll see the ground cracking and looks like almost little anthills where it's pushing up that dirt because it has to push this, basically the soybean seed, all the way up through to the soil surface. Then here in this one, so those cotyledons have unfurled a little bit. They're peeling out to the edges, and our first unifoliate leaves are just starting to come up. In this next plant, those unifoliate leaves have unfurled, and so there'll be the two of those. And here, this one's just a little bigger, but you can see this will be our first trifoliate leaf here. So it's considered one leaf, but there will be 3 leaflets that come out of this. And hopefully by next week, we'll be able to show you what that looks like when they're unfurled.
So there's just a few things that we've been noticing in our own soybean fields that we'd like to talk about, because you may be seeing them in yours as well. And the first thing is this yellow effect on the cotyledon. All this is because of the seed treatment. It can cause a little bit of phytotoxicity to the plant. However, it is not harming the plant, and it will grow out of it. You can compare it to the white halo effect that you can see in canola. That too is just because of the seed treatment. And it's more evident if you have cool, wet weather. So we were seeing quite a bit of this yellowing in a week ago. However, because of the warmer weather now, it's less evident in emerging soybeans. And as you can see with this plant, it's at the unifoliate stage right now. You can still see where the cotyledon was a little bit yellow, but the plant is healthy and it has completely grown out of that. Another effect that we were noticing on some of the emerging soybeans was a purpling of the hypocotyl, or the stem, as it first comes out of that hook stage, out of the ground. However, you don't have to be alarmed about this either. It's just because of an accumulation of sugars, and it is also more evident in cooler weather. So soybeans that are coming out of the ground now, it's less noticeable and we aren't seeing it as much. So now that the temperatures have increased and we're seeing accelerated growth in our soybeans, we're also seeing a lot of new weeds emerging. And in this field in particular, we're seeing a lot of volunteer canolas. And although this field was not canola for the last 3 years, we know that a lot of these volunteers are Roundup ready. So we do have a few different options, and we're also going to discuss our rates of glyphosate and the timing if you're not going to be using an added tank mix partner. So one thing we just want to discuss the importance on is the staging again. And a lot of tank mix partners, such as Odyssey and Viper, on their staging, they'll say 1 to 3 leaf. What this means is 1 to 3 trifoliate. So you do not count these leaves because they're only our unifoliate leaves. So if you're going in thinking that this is a 2-leaf soybean crop, you actually don't want to be doing your glyphosate even yet, because we aren't at our first trifoliate.
Thank you for watching this week's Stoney Ridge Ag Services video. We will soon be contacting you regarding the pickup of empty pro boxes. And if you have any questions regarding any agronomy or questions you have with your pioneer crops, feel free to contact any of us. Watch for our next video update. We will be covering the soybean herbicide information, as well as anything else that we're seeing in the field.